My oh my. Can you guys tell? It's the afternoon. It's the evening. It's not the morning. We're switching it up today. My calf, or it's like my Achilles, is gripping me. Just like and it's a good metaphor. It's a good metaphor for life, because I was just doing a workout and I'm warming up for like 30 minutes. Can feel it the entire time. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna hop in to this first rep. We were doing 2 kilometers, so 5 laps around the track. I'm like, I'm gonna run this first lap. I know it's gonna hurt. I'm gonna stop. I start running at the quicker pace. Feel absolutely nothing. I'm just kidding. I definitely felt it a little bit, but much less than the warm up. And so I was like, why not? I'll keep it going. So I still cut it short, but as soon as I stopped, took off my shoes, it was just like, so the reason it's a metaphor for life is because when you're moving, when you're doing stuff, when you're not thinking too much, you don't notice anything. You don't feel the aches and pains. It's only when you slow down you get to look around, the devil starts pulling on your shoulder. I saw a video the other day, I was talking about that. It said when you slow down, when you stop, is when the devil starts trying to tempt you. And that's exactly what it is. Right now my calf is just gripping me, and the devil's here saying, you gotta stop. Well, when you keep moving, you don't feel it. And that kind of relates to what I wanted to talk about today, which is super important for guys my age. A lot of my friends I talk to, people I hear, people I interact with in their early 20s, guys and girls, have no idea what they're doing. No purpose. They don't know what they're looking for, their calling. They don't know what it is. And I mean, you go through college, most people nowadays, right? One of the first things I noticed when I got out of college, I was like on my second week of work, and I was like, wow. From a utility perspective, there was no utility that I got from college that's helping me out in this current job, from a skill perspective, I should say. Obviously, there's connections, there's maturing, but a lot of these things I think you get outside of college. So the fact that after just 2 weeks, I was like, wow, I really didn't even need college, is kind of telling. But I say that because you go into college, you don't really put too much thought in it. It's what everybody does. I don't know what the rate of college enrollment has been, but I know that over the past, let's say 50 years, it's gone up dramatically. It used to be like a privilege or a rarity, and now it's just the norm. If you don't go to college, it's weird. And so you're flushed into this path. You pick a major without much thought, and then boom, you're committing to that for the rest of your life, is at least what you think. And for a lot of my friends, a lot of my colleagues, they have little to no idea what they're doing when they get into their work. Like, it's just like, all right, I've worked all this time, I got this job, I'm making X amount of money. It could be a lot of money, right? But I have zero fulfillment, zero purpose. This is what I'm supposed to do the rest of my life. And I'm always a big believer in time, in managing your time well. And I've been able to do so much more with the time I've had than I would have ever thought, just working on multiple things at once during school, whatever it was. And so I'm not saying that you should leave your job whatsoever. It's always circumstantial. But there's still a lot of time in the day to figure out what you want to do. And so I have friends that are dealing with these struggles, and they're like, dude, I'm looking for what I want to do. I have no idea. I don't really like my work. I think I want to do this. I think I want to do that. And they basically are in this never-ending loop of trying to figure out what it is they want to do. They have some like broad perspective of like, oh, I want to be, the head designer at a company. I want to be leading a group of people. And then they just loop-de-doop on that thought over and over and over again. And what I've continually noticed is that everyone I've interacted with, older, younger, whomever it is, whenever they feel a deep purpose, it's because they've just tried and tried and tried so many different things. And maybe what they initially tried, they didn't like. Maybe they were forced into it. But I've never been a believer in the source of things. If you improve, who cares how you improved or why you improved, right? You improved. Doesn't matter if it was because of someone or something that you think negatively about. You improved. Let it ride. In the same sense here, you start working on something out of being forced to do it, whatever it is. Nice, at least you're doing something, because then once you do that thing, you learn a little bit. And then maybe you keep doing it, or maybe you realize that's not what you want to do, and then you move to the next thing. And the key here is that you just start doing stuff. You take one small action. I remember when I first started coding, pre-AI models, and I was given a ticket to like design the side component of an app, a Word application. So it was like the user interface, and I had no fucking idea what I was doing. Literally not a clue. And I remember I spent like 6 hours on a singular component. Like one little, imagine like a title, and on the left it needed like a back button, on the right it needed a menu, and in the middle it needed a title. It took me like 6 hours to get that working correctly. Just little tweaks here and there, kind of reading how to do it, and finally I got it. And then the next day I did something similar, and after a week I couldn't really see much improvement. But then after a week and a half, I took on a little bit bigger of a ticket. Maybe I added an animation. Maybe I did the same thing, but with a little bit more polish. And you fast forward over 6 months, and I was doing stuff that I never would have been able to do in the beginning. And had I never started trying and taken that small first step, I would have never have gotten to that point. And maybe I got 6 months down the road and I was like, this isn't for me. Boom, move to the next thing. Take that first small step. It's always a tiny first step. You need to be willing to be stupid, to be silly, to be bad at something, to be a beginner. With social media, with this constant comparison all up in the air, people are unable to take that first step and just be a beginner. Genuinely. Like I was talking about, I have these new goals I've set for myself, and I'm doing some of these movements and I literally suck. I'm a total beginner. And it's a rare experience. It's something that most people literally don't do anymore. Just be a beginner at something. And so if you're stuck and you don't know what to do, you need to take one small step. Maybe you need to read a book. I've always been a fan of excitement, right? Get excited about something. Who cares what it is? Again, just be excited about something, because that excitement will lead you to that first step. And then hopefully it leads you to the second step and the third one. And hopefully you just keep stepping. I was talking to my friend just before this, And it sounds so cliche, but seriously, the journey is where all of the fun is, all of the heat, because you have no idea what's going to happen. There's all the risk, there's all the pain, there's all the highs, all the lows. If you're young and you've already made a ton of money, you've already achieved success in whatever it is. At least I was genuinely thinking about it. I was like, seriously, put yourself in those shoes. You'd feel lost. Just the process, the learning, the going from being dumb to good to better to great is where all of the fun in life is. And so the whole entire idea to like circumvent that or shortcut it, I think misses the point. It's through that pain. Here's the ducks. There's only 2. Ooh, never mind. There's like 4 ducks right now. 5 ducks. See some ducks over there. It's through all of the pain and the living life that you have the full human experience. So take that first step. Take that first step. Who cares what it is? Write a line of code. Do a push-up. Do a push-up on your knees. Do a push-up on your knees with a chair in front of you. Do a push-up on the side of a wall. Gravity isn't even against you. Just do a push-up on the side of the wall and then slowly go down. It's just like compounding interest. I've always loved this analogy where like you go on the compounding interest calculator and you put in like, I don't know, $10 compounded at like 10% over 50 years and it's like $1 million. Some crazy numbers. The same thing applies to just like anything that requires incremental progress and growth. And humans have a really bad judgment or ability to perceive compounding interest for anything, let alone money. And so if you see someone start working on something and they suck, it's easy to look down upon them and think that, oh, they'll never be good. But if you fast forward 10, 20 years and they've been consistent over that entire time period and they get to reap the benefits of compounding interest, guess what? They're probably going to be pretty good. They're probably going to be way better than you would have thought in the beginning. So think about that. I like to internalize that because it makes making that first step a little easier. It makes taking whatever step you're doing any day a little easier if you trust in the compounding interest. So, having fun this evening. Hopefully some of these words stick. Stretching out the Achilles a little bit. We'll bounce back though. Get a good night's rest. And we'll be at it tomorrow. But hopefully some of this hits. As always, I hope you guys have a great night this time, not day. And I'll be back soon. Peace.